Duke Eclipse presents the Horror Hideout podcast, a podcast covering everything horror, including books, comics, and movies, presented by Dawson Duke and Kayla Bullock. Welcome to episode 6. Today we're doing Homicidal, as they say in the movie, or Homicidal to the layperson, from 1961.
Directed by William Castle. Castle. Where did that come from? Wow.
So William Castle, well first, I'm going to talk about William Castle for a minute, and then we'll go into a spoiler-free review. But for those of you who don't know, William Castle was the king of gimmicks. That's what they called him. He made a lot of...
He was kind of the king of B-movies at that time, too.
He made a lot of B-movie horrors, but there was almost always a gimmick.
Right.
Like, there was one movie, I don't remember which one, but he had a 20-foot skeleton that swooped down from the ceiling above the audience.
Right. And then there was another one where he... it was actually his first movie. This was his second one, but his first movie... he offered a $1,000 life insurance policy to anybody who died from fear in the theater during the movie.
And this one has what's called a fright break. So there's a part in the movie where for just a minute it counts down and has a heartbeat playing in the background, and it tells you if your heartbeat is faster than the heartbeat that's playing in the movie, stop watching the movie and leave the theater.
We'll get more into that, though, because I have some fun facts about that one. So.
But that's just so we know who we're dealing with here. It's not... This isn't your cream of the crop, like... super big studio movie. Like we said, it's from 1961. It's not.
But I'm also going to throw out there that the first time I watched this movie, I was blown away by the twist at the end.
Which we will obviously not reveal in our spoiler-free section. But let's move into the actual movie now. So it follows like a small cast of characters, and they slowly start to realize that this woman named Emily, who lives with some of them and is kind of part of the family, is actually murdering people. And I think that's about all we can say for spoiler free.
Yeah.
Can't really get much more into it.
It's just a good, like I said, the first time I watched it, I was jaw on the floor, like in shock at the ending of the movie, because I didn't have it figured out. So let's get into, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It is.
And this one is one you need to watch before we talk about it, because it will completely ruin your experience if you watch it knowing the twist.
Right. Can we say where it's available to watch?
Yeah, it's on Tubi.
You can watch it on Tubi. So let's dig in.
Okay.
So the movie opens and we see a tall, skinny, blonde woman named Merriam-Webster.
And the movie is black and white.
Yes, it is. But they say she's blonde.
They do.
So.
But I'm just clarifying it.
We meet her name is Merriam-Webster.
She says her name is Merriam-Webster.
Right now she's Merriam-Webster. And she goes to a hotel and checks in. And she...
You skipped part.
Oh, the doll part?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
At the very beginning of the movie, we see a young girl in her room, and a young boy comes into her room and steals her doll and runs away.
And she's a very bad actress at crying. Very, very bad at crying. Do they say their names there?
They don't. I don't think we learn until the scene where they go in the room and pick up the doll.
Okay.
But that's who it was.
So then that was, what? It says a year. I don't know. 15 years earlier or something. So then
they're kids then, so now they would be adults at this point.
Yeah, so now we cut back to where I was talking about with Miriam. She checks into a hotel. It's $5 for a night, which I saw a thing that said in today's money that would be $51.34.
I also have money written down for something else that's later in the movie.
And the young, there's two bellboys. There's an older one and a younger one, and she tells the guy she wants the younger one to help her up to her room. And she convinces him to marry her.
Yeah.
That night at midnight.
She comes off as an attractive woman, and she tips him $100, and then asks him if he'll marry her. And
then tells him there's more money involved if he will.
Yeah.
And ends up giving him a total of $2,000.
But she clarifies it's not going to be a real marriage, and that it's going to end right after it starts.
Right, they're going to have it annulled as soon as it...
Yeah. Completed?
Yeah, as soon as they get married. Which I didn't really understand the whole date thing, like why it had to be September 6th at midnight.
I don't know.
I don't know if it had something to do with Warren's birthday being in a couple days.
I don't know.
Um, so anyway, then
I don't know. I think the midnight thing, it's more just the middle of the night, so
yeah,
that the response is less. The specific day, I bet it is just because it's right before his birthday.
okay. So then it's her waiting for him to get there, right? At midnight.
I think so.
We don't meet anybody else yet.
No.
So they get to the Justice of the Peace's house, and
Yes. His name is Adrams, right?
yes, his wife answers the door, and this is one of the scenes we were talking about before, before we started our podcast. It's actually kind of a scene for scene shot of something in Psycho.
Yeah.
Where they go to, like, even the way they're dressed, like she's dressed in a kind of looks like a white robe house coat, and he's gone on his checker print one.
Yeah.
And that's how they're dressed in this movie too.
And this movie came out a year after Psycho.
Yeah.
But it would have started shooting around the time Psycho came out, or a little bit.
Yeah.
It's somewhere around there.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of people say that he ripped off a lot of stuff from Hitchcock. I think, which we'll get to the twist, but I think the twist is kind of unique for back then, so I don't really know about... Obviously he did, because like I said, there's several scenes where it's like shot for shot looks the exact same.
I think you said you saw 10 scenes.
I think that's what it was. So anyway, they get to the Justice of the Peace, and he marries them.
And then he says, now I'll kiss the bride.
Yeah.
The Justice of Peace does.
Yeah.
Which is odd.
And so Miriam flips out and she stabs the Justice of the Peace and kills him.
Yeah. And obviously no one else knew that was going on, so the wife freaks out, the bellboy freaks out, and Miriam runs outside.
And takes his car. He left his car keys in the car. And they actually make a point of mentioning that when they're going inside the Justice of the Peace's house.
And so she drives his car to her car, gets in her car, and starts to drive away. So then while she's driving, the radio comes on, and this is the first time we hear the term homicidal instead of homicidal. While she's driving, the radio comes on and is reporting what just happened, essentially. Well, I guess I skipped the part with the cop, but I don't really think that's necessary to talk about, do you?
Yeah, no.
Basically, there's just a cop behind her, and she thinks he's pulling her over, but he's actually turned his lights on because there's someone parked illegally.
Yeah, and one thing we didn't mention is she never takes her gloves off at this part.
Yeah.
Even when he puts the wedding ring on her.
She leaves it on.
She leaves it on. So then she shows up. She goes to... It's kind of like a... I don't know if you'd call it a mansion.
Yeah. But, well, I meant to say, the radio comes on. It reports what she looks like in the car she got in.
Right.
But the car they reported is the guy's car. It's not the car she's in now.
And she does take her gloves off at that point when she gets out of the car, and she leaves the bloody gloves in the car.
And you asked me before we started the episode if I thought that was actually the real Miriam's ring. Sorry, this isn't real Miriam. We're going to talk about something for a second. She throws the ring out the window.
Right.
I wonder if she did that in case the police find it.
See, I wondered that too.
But I don't think it is Miriam's ring. I think it's just a ring she had engraved with Miriam's name. Or NW.
That makes sense. Okay. So then we're at the house, right? Yeah. The mansion. And we meet Helga.
Yeah.
Emily, I'm sorry, who we think is Miriam, goes upstairs and she's washing the blood off of the knife, and she hears something and she turns around, and Helga is an older woman who is wheelchair bound, who doesn't speak because she had a stroke.
And she has, like, I don't know, it looks like a doorknob or something in her hand.
And she bangs it on the arm of her wheelchair to communicate, which I thought was an okay way to communicate, except for nobody knew what she was saying.
Yeah.
So, like, I would do, like, 1 knock is yes, 2 knocks are no. Like, or give her a pen and a paper, because if she can hold that, she could probably write.
Yeah, but my thing is, I mean, I'm sure we'll get more into this later, too, but, I think that may be manipulation on, Emily's part. Sorry. Miriam's part.
This will all make sense in a little while while we Miriam and Emily.
For the person that we have been referring to as Miriam is actually Emily. I'm going to refer to her as Emily from now on. Just
right, but she has used the name Miriam up until this point.
Yes.
This is actually the end of when
Helga knows her name is Emily.
Right, and this is actually The marriage part is actually the only part where she uses the name
Yes.
Miriam.
Yeah. Basically, she's trying to frame the real Miriam. But, uh, so I wonder if it's manipulation on Emily's part where she gave her that to communicate, which I know she takes it away multiple times in the movie, but I wonder if she does that on purpose and she's like, I'm the only one that can understand what she's saying.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't think about it like that, but maybe.
But anyway, so she's in the bathroom washing off the knife, and Helga comes in, and she kind of freaks out at Helga. Like, she screams in her ear. She tells him that Adrams is dead.
Yep.
And then I think right after that we cut the next morning, don't we?
I think so. And Helga is just... You can tell by her face she's just terrified of Emily. Throughout the whole movie, she's just terrified of her. But then we cut to the next morning.
And the actress that played her is very good at conveying that through just expression.
Yes.
Because she, like we said, she doesn't talk, so she doesn't say anything throughout the entire movie.
Yes. So we actually find out, let's do a little, I'm going to recap some of the characters in the movie just to kind of set where we're at. So, the one who was pretending to be Miriam is Emily. Emily is married to Warren.
We don't know that yet, though.
Not yet, but we'll find
that out.
I'm just trying to get, kind of... So,
well, maybe we should wait till all the characters are introduced and then we can explain everyone. Not to interrupt what you're doing, but so then it cuts to the next morning, and Emily's cooking breakfast. Emily, that was pretending to be Miriam, is cooking breakfast, and Helga comes down the stairs on her lift.
Which I thought that lift was really ingenious for 1961. Yeah. I don't know if they actually had things like that back then, but it's basically two rails that there's a platform and she can roll onto the platform and then go down the stairs.
And the platform is like angled at the bottom so that the top is flat.
Right. And she pushes kind of like a doorbell button and it takes her down or up however she wants to go.
Yeah.
So, the only thing I couldn't figure out was when she got to the bottom, did it just like flatten out?
I don't know. I wonder. I didn't pay enough attention.
Because it had to go somewhere.
Yeah. Unless maybe the front's ramped a little bit. I don't know. I didn't watch close enough.
Well, I mean, it's like flat on top and then angled in the front to go like down the stair. I don't know.
But I don't know.
But anyway, I thought it was really cool for the era that it was in that she had that ramp in there. Of course, she's got lots of money, so.
And so. Yeah, so while this is going on, she's cooking breakfast and everything. Helga seems very suspicious of what she's cooking, and she refuses to eat it. And this reminded me of Nightmare Before Christmas.
I thought it was a little odd that she was giving her warm milk in a bowl.
Yeah, that was a little odd.
That's all it was warm milk in a bowl.
If she can't speak, though, I wonder if she has mouth issues. Maybe she can only ingest liquids.
But don't you think you would have done a glass?
I don't know.
And she didn't give her a spoon at first.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then she won't drink it, so Emily's like, well, I know what you want. You want me to try it first. So then she gets a spoon. Because she thinks it's poisoned. Yeah. Which
makes me wonder, maybe she does poison her.
I don't know.
Maybe that's why she's in the wheelchair.
I don't know. Dawson and I aren't convinced that she actually had a stroke like they say she did.
Yeah. And you'll find out why later. But, yeah, so it did remind me of Nightmare Before Christmas, though. You know what I'm talking about? When Sally makes soup for what's his face?
Oh yeah,
the doctor.
Yeah,
she poisons it and then she uses a spoon that has holes in it. Yeah. She doesn't do that here. She just actually tries it and it's fine. But then she's also if you are easily bothered by elder abuse, do not watch this movie because there's a lot of Emily screaming at Helga.
Yeah. But yes, there's a lot of that, but there's not physical
not really.
There is toward the end, I guess. Yeah. That would be physical abuse, but it's not graphic physical abuse, I guess is what I want to say.
It's more there's a lot more threats of physical abuse than there actually is physical abuse. Yeah. So anyway, while this is going on, this is when the real Miriam shows up. Right. So this is when we find out that the Miriam we've known up to now is Emily. Right. And the one that had just pulled up is the real Miriam.
And her name is Merriam-Webster, the dictionary.
Yeah.
Don't know if that was on purpose, but... And Miriam's just sweet. She's a sweet little lady that runs her own flower shop, and she came to see Helga. She brought her flowers, and she she was actually raised by Helga after her parents passed away.
So was her half brother Warren.
Yes, but Emily is just mean.
I don't think Miriam was raised by Helga. Because Helga took Warren and went to Denmark. I think Maria got left behind. So Helga raised Warren. I'm
so
just
they
gonna
have
say
the
this
same
now.
dad, but a different mom.
Yes.
So Miriam was with her mom.
This is when Warren is brought up for the first time. Warren is Miriam's younger half brother, and his birthday's in a few days, and he is supposed to be coming to the house. And Emily comments on the fact that Miriam never shows up at the house except for when Warren's there, and that she should come out and visit more often.
Right.
But
that she
Miriam
doesn't come out to see Helga.
But then Miriam says, "I was here last weekend," and Emily's like, "Oh, I forgot."
And Emily's just this stoic, like no emotion, just
Yeah.
I don't really know what to call her. Like she's just very
dismissive of everything.
Right. And she's mean. She's just it's like she doesn't care about people's feelings.
Yeah.
Like she's just mean to everybody. I mean, I don't think she's nice to anybody in the whole movie.
No. She's mean in a way that shows she doesn't care about the consequences.
Right.
And so this is when Warren's brought up, and they're talking about how he's going to come into some money soon. And, so
on that part, their father always wanted a son. And so Warren is getting the money because he was the first, well, he's the only, but he was the firstborn son.
Yeah.
If he didn't get the money, it would go, if he wasn't around to get the money, it would go to Miriam.
Yeah.
But their father was very strict on, I want a boy, I'm going to have a son.
And we don't learn this until later in the movie, but I'll just go ahead and say it now. We find out that, and we find out later in the movie that their dad left Miriam's mom for, Warren's mom whenever Miriam's mom had a girl.
Right.
Because he wanted a son.
Right. And this is later on in the movie too, but Warren talks about how horrible it was to be his son because he was abusive, and he had, like, Carl, who we'll meet in a little while, Warren's dad would pay Carl to start fights with him to try to teach him to be more manly.
And Helga used to whip him under his dad's orders, and we learn all this later, but we'll just go ahead and say it now since we already got into it. And you find out that his parents, Warren's parents, died in a drunk driving accident, and so Warren was then taken by Helga to Denmark and raised there.
Right, and Helga was a nurse.
Yes.
And when Warren was born, she quit her job to go work for his family. Kind of like my impression is like a nanny.
Yeah.
A live-in nanny. For Warren.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're kind of jumping back and forth on the story, but it kind of makes sense to talk about all that right now together.
Yeah. So anyway, so like we said, we find out that Warren's coming into money and he's coming soon. So then Emily asks Miriam if she'll watch Helga while she goes into town to pick up medicine. And Miriam very, very reluctantly agrees. She does not want to do it, and Emily basically forces her into doing it because she had plans to have a picnic with Carl today, because Carl and Miriam are involved.
Right.
It never says how, like, whether they're fiancé. I think they're just...
One thing I read said it did mention that they were engaged.
Okay.
But
maybe it does.
I didn't ever catch that.
They're either dating or engaged.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty serious.
Yeah.
And then Carl is actually the pharmacist.
He owns the drugstore in town, and this is back when drugstores were like...
right, but I mean, he's working as the pharmacist when she goes to get the prescription filled.
Well, he's actually working at the regular counter because she comes in and he says, "Oh, you need a thing filled," and then he walks over to the other counter, and I thought that was funny.
Yeah,
and
like opens the door.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm guessing that's how it worked back then, but it's just funny for him to walk around this counter, and then there's just a big it's like an enclosed area for the pharmacy.
Right.
But one side is just completely open because that's where he walked in at. And then there's a little door he opens to talk to her. And it's like, did he really need to move all the way over there just to get the medicine?
Right. And it's like an ice cream shop, like a soda shop on one side. And one thing, when I was doing some background research on it, they talk about is Emily's reactions to kids. Like, she's
Yeah.
just so odd with that boy that's...
She
So
walks
when
in,
she
and
goes...
I wrote that down, too.
When she goes into the pharmacy, there's a little boy standing at the ice cream counter
Yeah.
getting an ice cream cone. And she's just really odd
He, like,
with
pets
him.
his head.
Yeah.
And the kid, like, looks uncomfortable and then just gets up and walks out.
Yeah, I would have too.
And I wasn't sure, which there's other stuff in the movie, too, later that makes me think that it was her desire to have children. But initially I thought, oh, is she just trying to get him out of there so it's just her and Carl? That's what I thought she was trying to do. But I just genuinely think that was her reaction to seeing a kid.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So then whenever she goes to get the medicine from Carl, he comments on how it's dangerous stuff.
The strychnine.
And I thought it was going to come back into play. I thought something was going to happen with it. And it does, but not in the way I thought.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, me too.
And so, like I said, Miriam and Carl were supposed to picnic, and Emily was just supposed to be in town for like an hour to get the medicine. And Emily tells Carl that Em can't make it, that Miriam can't make it, because she's busy or something, and offers to go in her place and go on the picnic. And it's kind of flirty with them, and it's kind of odd.
It's kind of horrible because if they're involved, I mean, you don't do that.
Yeah. And he says no. He'll just keep his shop open because he was going to close it early to go on the picnic. So then Emily says, okay, then if not, she wants you to pick her up from her flower shop this evening.
Right.
Which
her flower shop's like down the block from the pharmacy.
Yeah, it's like
far.
Yeah, it's like 2 businesses down. Yeah. It's not far away.
And the doctor comes in at this point too. We meet the doctor.
I was going to say that. And this is whenever he mentions that Helga was a nurse for him. That's when we actually learn this. And he was the one that delivered Warren. She was the one that delivered Warren under him. Because he was gonna do it, but she did it. It kind of sounds like...
there.
Yeah.
He had something else was going on and he wasn't there.
And then he said that he thinks Helga quit after that because she was mad she was afraid he would be mad that she did that.
Yeah. Which
doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why she would think he would be mad about that.
It was a different world back then. Nurses weren't supposed to do that kind of stuff, would be my guess. And she's a woman, so she probably wasn't supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
But the doctor was not present when Warren was born.
Yeah.
I'm stressing that for a reason.
So then this is whenever we find out that Helga took Warren to Denmark at some point, and that's where they both met Emily, who they brought back with them, and where Helga had her stroke. Yes. And I don't think Helga had a stroke.
I'm not sure.
I think Emily did something to her. Especially with the way... I don't think they would have included the scene where she thinks she poisoned her. I feel like that, and the dangerous stuff medicine, that makes me feel like she's drugging her.
See, one thing I didn't understand on the whole thing was, the doctor keeps saying he needs to get out there and see Helga, he needs to get out there and see her, he's not seen her forever. So where's she getting prescriptions from if the local doctor's not seeing Helga?
I don't know. And we don't know... Emily is like her, live-in nurse, so maybe she has something from Denmark that says she can write prescriptions.
Maybe.
We never find out.
Maybe. There's a lot of plot holes in this movie.
Yeah, it's either plot holes or things they should have expanded on. It's not necessarily like there are reasons, but we shouldn't have to come up with them. You should have given us something in the movie.
Right.
I don't think it's so much that it ruins your suspension of disbelief though. It's like we talked about with what was that movie? Hellfest. If you sit down and analyze it analytically, you're gonna find errors, but you don't think about it when you first watch the movie.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so then next is whenever we see Emily go to Miriam's flower shop, and there's some wedding display stuff out there. There is a wreath made with a floral arrangement.
Before you get into that, her shop is locked, but Miriam knows where Emily knows where she keeps the key, so she breaks in, but she has the key, so it's not technically breaking in. But it's a wedding wreath.
I think, does she lock the door behind her?
I don't know.
Because I don't remember if Carl has to unlock it when he gets there later. I don't think he does. I think he just opens the door. It doesn't matter, but it was just... I didn't remember.
She must not have, because Carl comes in and she hits him in the head.
And she takes the note off the door that says...
Right.
Closed.
Right.
because since
And she
Miriam's.
still had the key, so I bet he didn't use the key because she hits
Well,
him
I
over
didn't.
the head.
Yeah, but I didn't know. I thought maybe she unlocked the door, locked it, put the key back, and then went in and
I
closed
don't
it. But
think
I
so.
don't think so. I think she just left it unlocked. And my question is, she took that note off the door that said they're closed. What if someone else had walked in?
Right?
Like, anyway, let's get back to what's going on. So she's in there and she is just breaking stuff. She rips one of the flowers apart, and what makes her mad is she sees figurines of a bride and groom, and
Yeah.
she gets mad and rips the head off a flower, and then she goes over to the figurines of the bride and groom and makes them all kiss, and then smashes them all off the table and then starts wrecking everything.
Right. And then the wedding wreath you were talking about, arrangement you were talking about, she takes the groom off and she breaks his head off. She had to be
Yeah.
pretty strong to be able to do
She
that.
she like knocks everything around the wreath off, including the bride, and then just picks up the groom and looks at him for a minute and snaps the head off.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I don't know.
She had to be pretty strong. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's either porcelain or really thick plastic. I mean,
I thought it looked like wood.
it was hollow inside though when she snapped his head off. I bet it was plastic, but
Probably. I don't know.
as small as his head was, it would have taken some strength, I think.
Anyway, so
So then she
Then-
goes. The flower shop, on the back of the flower shop is Miriam's apartment.
yeah,
And she goes into Miriam's apartment, and there's a picture of Warren.
yeah, and
it
it's
says,
like signed by him, which I thought
Yeah.
was kind of odd.
"To
It's
my loving sis Warren."
Yeah,
or
it's
something
like-
that.
it's like whenever you go somewhere and someone has an autograph from a celebrity is what
Yeah.
it looks like. And
Yeah.
I've never seen anything in real life where you had someone that you know do that.
Right.
Like
right.
like a family, like family or a friend that
Right.
signed something like "to my loving whatever."
Right.
I just thought that was kind of odd.
But Emily breaks the picture.
Yeah,
She smashes it.
she smashed it, and I think she twists the frame.
Yeah.
And so then she's there till evening. We have kind of like a time jump,
Yeah.
and Carl is closing up his shop, so he comes over to Miriam's to pick up Miriam because Emily told her he was going to. You want to talk for a bit? I feel like I'm talking a lot.
Go ahead.
So he goes in, he sees the stuff broken. I think he yells out and asks if anyone's there and yells for Miriam. And then when he goes into the back room, Miriam's apartment, Emily comes out from behind the door and knocks him out.
Right. And then she leaves.
Yeah. And then he wakes up to being slapped in the face.
By
Warren,
Warren.
which, like we said, is Miriam's half brother.
Yes.
So do we want to go through and explain who everyone is now? I think those are all the big players.
Okay. So Emily, we find out later on, is Warren's wife. Warren and Miriam are half brother and sister. Helga raised Warren after his parents died. Carl is Miriam's fiance. I think fiance. We're going to say fiance.
And then there's the doctor,
And then the doctor.
and he's a doctor. That's about all you need to know.
Yeah.
So that's who everyone is.
And then we also have, of course, we've got the bellboy from the beginning, and we've
Yeah.
got the police officer.
Yeah.
They come into play later
Yeah.
on.
Just remember that there was the murder at the beginning, and the police are still looking into that.
One thing we didn't mention was when you watch the movie at the very beginning, there's a little intro to it, and it's done by the director William Castle.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's trying to be creepy or if he's trying to be cheesy, but
You-
it came off as kind of creepy.
You know what it reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of R.L. Stine at the beginning of Goosebumps episodes.
Oh, yeah?
That's what came to mind whenever.
Huh. I never thought about that, but yeah, you're right.
And I wonder if people like that inspired R.L. Stine to do that.
Maybe. I don't know.
But if you don't know who William Castle is, I know we talked about him a little bit at the beginning, but he wasn't just a director because he directed a bunch of movies. He also was a producer on 13 Ghosts, the original one, and House on Haunted Hill.
I thought
Right?
it was Haunting on Hill House.
I think, yeah, Haunting on Hill House, I think.
Haunting House on Haunted Hill.
A House on Haunted Hill, that sounds right.
I think that's it.
Okay. Anyway, so he worked on some movies that people still know today, or had more modern remakes. Anyway, where were we at? Oh yeah, he's woken up to Warren. So Warren's there, and Warren is asking like, "Oh, what happened? Why is the shop destroyed?" And Carl explains he doesn't know. He just got knocked out. So then Warren like has him check to see if he still has his wallet, to see if it was a robbery or what, and it wasn't. And then Carl brings up the fact that Warren's picture was destroyed and he needs to watch out because someone might be after him. And then Warren pulls out a newspaper and says, "Have you seen this?" And shows him a newspaper, and there's a sketch in the newspaper of the woman who murdered the Justice of Peace at the beginning.
Right. And it looks like Emily.
Yeah. Like, exactly. And Carl doesn't seem like he recognizes it, which I thought was kind of odd. Like, he doesn't really say anything about it. Do you think that was Warren testing?
I don't know. Maybe.
Anyway, so Warren says, or no, Carl tells Warren, "Go stay with Miriam at the house with Helga. I'm going to hold down the shop and make sure no one comes back."
And then he's going to clean everything up.
Yes.
But not to tell Miriam that it happened.
Yes. So he goes back, so he heads to the house, and this is when we have the scene where we find about the abusive parents, that they died in a car crash, and that Helga used to whip him and all that stuff is in the room. And is this also the scene where the doll is revealed? Yes, it is.
Yes.
Warren took, and this is Warren's room, and it's like a really fancy playroom.
Yes.
And Warren took, what we saw at the beginning where the young boy stole the girl's doll was Warren taking Miriam's doll.
Yes.
And so now Miriam says something along the lines of, "Do you remember when you stole this?" and all that. So she ends up like taking it back and takes it back to her room. And then here I want to talk about something else. When they're talking, this is when they talk about the money they're going to get from the dad. And Warren talks about how even though he hated his dad, at least he's getting something out of it because he's getting $10 million. And $10 million back then, do you know how much that is today?
100 million.
108,971,186. A lot of money. And so he has 2 days until he turns 21 and gets that money. So, like I said, Miriam takes the doll. She goes to bed. And she's like sleeping with the doll, isn't she? Or is the doll sitting somewhere? Is the doll just in her room, or is it in her bed?
I think it's just sitting on like the nightstand.
Okay. So anyway, so it's the middle of the night. Miriam's asleep. Emily comes in her room and accidentally wakes her up by taking the doll. And Miriam is like, "What are you doing in my room?" And she runs out with the doll.
Yeah.
And she goes back to Warren's room and starts to like undress herself and talks to Warren.
Yeah.
And so this is when you first find out they're like kind of a couple, but you don't know exactly what the situation is yet. We don't know they're married yet. So then we cut to the next morning and Emily's making breakfast again. And Miriam comes down and she confronts her about being in her room.
Right.
And Emily denies ever being in there. And then...
She basically tells Miriam she was dreaming.
Yeah. And this is when Miriam reveals that her and Warren were married.
No. Emily reveals.
Did I say Miriam?
Yeah.
Yeah. Emily reveals to Miriam that her and Warren are married. And then she threatens to kill her. She says, "If you stay in this house one more minute, I'm going to kill you."
Yes.
So Miriam leaves.
And I thought that line was, I don't want to say funny, but like, I mean, we're doing this at my house. So if I told you, "Dawson, if you stay one more minute, I'm going to kill you," you probably wouldn't like run out the door scared crapless. I mean...
Emily's a pretty freaky lady.
Right, that's what I was going to say. So I think it says a lot about her character.
Yeah.
That Miriam's first thought is, "I gotta go. Get me out of here."
So Miriam immediately runs outside, gets in her car, drives to town, and goes to Carl's drugstore, but no one is there. So she goes to the flower shop, and we see the cop pull up at this time, but he doesn't come in yet. So Miriam goes in the shop and sees all the broken stuff, and then the cop comes in and starts asking questions. And it's pretty funny to me that Carl was like, "Oh, I'll clean everything up," and then she comes in and it's still broken.
Yeah. Yeah. And this cop is from... So she murdered the Justice of the Peace in a different town.
Yeah.
So this cop is from that town.
Yeah. And I don't remember what the town name was, but it started with an S.
I don't
Sealyville
remember.
Or something.
I don't remember. I know Ventura is where we're at now.
Yeah.
But, so he comes in and he's asking Miriam where she was at 2 nights ago, and
he's with the bellboy, but the bellboy has not come inside yet.
Right.
He's still out in the car.
Right. So the cop's just kind of interrogating Miriam, and she's like,
because her name was on the hotel thing.
I don't know anything about it. I don't know what's going on. And so he brings in the bellboy, and the bellboy's like, "No, that's not her."
Yeah.
And
And
so the detective gives her his card and says, "If you think of anything, let me know."
yeah, and then that's when Carl comes in. And does Carl did I don't think Carl tells her where he was at. He just told Warren, "Hey, go hang out with her." This is kind of a plot hole. He told, "I'll clean up the shop." Then he doesn't clean up the shop and isn't in the shop whenever Miriam
Maybe he
comes there.
passed back out after he got hit in the head.
Maybe he went to the doctor.
Maybe.
I mean, we never hear about it, but him and the dog seem like they're pretty good friends.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, Carl comes back and he tells Miriam about the shop break-in and reveals he says when he was cleaning up, but again, I don't think it was fully cleaned up
I don't think so either.
because I think like the wreath was still on the floor. Anyway, he comes in and he reveals that he found the prescription he had filled for Helga the day before when he was cleaning.
That he had. It was for Helga, but he filled it for Emily.
Yeah, that he had given to Emily. And so this is what I meant. I thought it was
I
going to come
thought
into
he
play.
told that to Warren.
No, he tells it to Miriam here.
Oh, so he hasn't told Warren.
No,
Okay.
Warren doesn't know. Um, and this is whenever Carl shows Miriam the newspaper sketch and says, "Doesn't this look like Emily?" So I think he was lying before, whenever he didn't really react to it.
And then Miriam tells Carl that Emily said they were married.
Yeah, and threatened to kill her.
Yeah.
Um, and so Carl wants to call the police, and Miriam stops him and says, "No, she's married to Warren, so we need to talk to him first." Um, so they leave to go to the house that Helga's in and Warren's staying at, and Emily lives in. And Warren is there, and he talks to he's Warren is there talking to Helga, and then that's whenever Carl and Miriam pull up, and Warren says when he sees them come in, he says, "Oh, I'll go get Emily," since they're there, and they stop him, and this is when they ask him, "Are you guys actually married?" And Warren reveals that they got married in Denmark, but he did not want to. He didn't want to tell anyone. They wanted to keep it secret, and
this is when Carl asks him, "How well do you know her?" And he says, "How well do you really know anyone?"
That was from earlier in the movie, and that was going to be the line I put at the end. He said that earlier. Carl stays at shop, makes sure no one comes back, and Warren goes to stay with Miriam. And he says, "What do we really know about it?" Warren says, "What do we really know about anybody?" So anyway, so then they reveal that they think that Emily was the one that killed the Justice of Peace in the other town. And so they ask Warren if he has a photo, and he pulls one out from his wallet and gives it to him. And so
it's not a very attractive photo.
No, it doesn't look like it looks like a candid photo, like she wasn't ready to get her picture taken, like he just took it.
Maybe. I just didn't think it was very flattering.
And he says it's old, from when they were in Denmark before they got married.
Yeah.
So Carl and Miriam leave to take it to the police. So then, I think it's the next day. Doc comes.
But Carl drops Miriam off at the shop.
Yes,
because he doesn't want her to go with him to the police.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But so then he's closing up his shop, locking it up, and Doc comes up and he needs sleeping pills for one of his patients, and so Carl asks Doc if you can tell when someone is homicidal.
Yeah.
And Doc says they can change from being your friend into your murderer in a second's time. So Carl gives him the sleeping pills and then closes up his shop and then goes to see Miriam before he leaves. And Miriam is like, "Just let me go with you." And he's like, "No, this is too dangerous." But he does warn that Emily may come after Miriam. Mm-hmm. Which I would think, take her with you. You're going to be with a policeman.
Right.
Don't leave her in the flower shop when you know there's a homicidal maniac.
And somebody already broke in and destroyed everything in the shop. I mean, don't leave her there by herself.
Okay, so this is the scene where we see the knife sharpener.
Which was a totally random, out of nowhere. Like, did we have to have that scene just to know that it was a surgical knife?
It's like a big van. I don't know, like a big SUV type thing. That's got like a grindstone in the back, and this guy pulls up to sharpen a knife. And I don't know, she said she called him. Was that a thing they had back then? Would people just come to your house with a sharpener and sharpen your knives?
I would assume so.
And so he says it's gonna be $2 to sharpen her knife, or it'd be $3 if he does every knife in the house.
Right.
Because he's trying to get more business. And she says, no, I just want this one sharpened. And he's like, this is unlike any knife I've ever seen. She's like, oh, it's a surgical knife. And he like pressures her into like telling him what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like a very tense, weird scene, and it doesn't really go anywhere.
No. Except for we know that the knife's sharp enough
Yeah.
to kill people again.
So she gets it sharpened, and this is when she says it's a surgical knife. And then she goes back inside. Helga comes downstairs, and Emily starts talking to her and talks about how lonely she is when Warren's not home. And then Emily closes the curtains in the front room and is like brandishing her knife and is about ready to kill Helga when there's a knock on the door. And it's the doctor. And
the doctor who just so happens to have kept telling
Yeah.
Emily he needs to come see Helga, and he shows up right at this exact moment.
Yeah, he said he was in the area checking on another patient, and he thought
Yeah.
he'd stop by.
Yeah.
So he seems suspicious of Emily in the scene.
I thought so too, and it was kind of a tense scene because she hides the knife in a magazine.
Yeah.
And then he starts to flip through the magazine.
Yeah.
She's like, you'll lose my page.
Yeah, he comments on the fact, he's like, oh, you must do a lot of reading, because there's a bunch of books and magazines piled up on the table. And she panicked when he knocked on the door and just, like, threw the knife in the magazine. And it's even partially, like, you can see a little bit of the bottom hanging out of the bottom of the magazine. So he starts to pick it up and flip through it, and she says that, so he puts it back down.
I think Helga should have got the knife when she was answering the door.
Yeah. I don't know.
Helga should have got the knife.
Yeah, but then if the doc comes in and she's wielding a knife, and he doesn't know what's going on.
I mean, she could hide it till he left.
That's true. I don't know. Anyway, so Emily says it's Helga's nap time, so the doctor probably shouldn't stay too long. And Helga keeps trying to say something. Like she's trying to get
using
the
her
doctor's
knocker
attention.
thing, and
Yeah.
Emily ends up taking it away from her.
And then she's still trying to say something. She's like mouthing words.
And you can tell she's just, by the look on her face,
Yeah.
she's just terrified.
And the doctor keeps like hesitating, and then he finally leaves.
Right. But he also tells Emily she left the phone off the hook.
Yeah.
And Emily said, well, I did that on purpose for Helga's nap.
Yeah. But anyway, he ends up leaving very hesitantly. And then Miriam retrieves a knife and puts Helga on the lift. And we don't see her cut her here. She gets ready to slash her, and then we cut away.
Mm-hmm.
So now we see that Carl is with the officer. Or we don't see, do we? I think it's a phone call. Or do we see?
We
do see.
We do.
He's at the
yeah,
hotel.
because he's calling.
Yeah.
He calls Miriam to tell her
Yeah.
that he's okay.
So Carl and the officer are at the whole hotel waiting for the bellboy to come in so that they can have him ID the picture. And it's like he doesn't come in until 8, and it's like 7:40, so they just have to wait a minute. And so he calls Miriam to check up on her and make sure she hasn't been murdered yet, and she's okay. And so then when Miriam gets off the phone, there's a knock on her window. She's in the back room, like in her apartment behind the flower shop, and someone knocks on the front flower window. So she goes out to see who it is, and it's Warren.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes inside, and then Miriam gets another call, and it turns out that the witness recognized Emily. So Warren and Marion decide they need to leave right now to go check on Emily and Helga and make sure Helga's okay.
Doesn't he question Miriam before she gets the call if she really thinks Emily did it? Like,
I think so.
trying to dig in more and see
Yeah.
what he can find out.
And he initially, I think it's some reverse psychology. He initially acts like he doesn't want Miriam to come with him.
Yeah.
And then she wants to just stay there and wait for them. And he's like, oh, but it's an hour away. Someone needs to go check on them now.
Yeah.
So then when he decides to leave, Miriam's like, fine, I guess I'll come with you.
So he's trying to act like he's all worried about Helga being home
Yeah.
alone with Emily.
And then, so they get to the house. Warren takes a gun out of the glove box and goes inside the house. And then Miriam is told to stay in the car, so she does it first, and then she keeps watching the clock. She grows impatient. She gets out of the car. She waits outside for a little bit, and then she goes to the front door.
And this is when we have our break.
Yes, and I want you to talk about it.
This is one of the things I watched this movie a long time ago, probably 20 years ago, and this is one thing that has stuck with me that whole time. So on the screen, they put up a 45-second clock, and it says, "This is the fright break." You hear that sound? It's the sound of a heartbeat. A frightened, terrified heartbeat. Is it beating faster than your heart or slower? This heart is going to beat for another 25 seconds to allow anyone to leave this theater who is too frightened to see the end of the picture. 10 seconds more and we go into the house. It's now or never. 5, 4. You're a brave audience. And so the gimmick that he did with that was he sent out cardboard cutouts of, they call it it was a yellow box. What they call it?
I don't know. This is news to me.
So they called it Coward's Corner. And he sent it out to the theater showing the movie. And there was a yellow line that went out of the theater down to this box, like out of the theater itself, not the building, down to this box that was called Coward's Corner. And you could get your money back for the movie, but you had to follow this yellow line, go stand in Coward's Corner until the movie let out, and everybody else that stayed to watch the whole thing walked out of the theater and walked past you and made fun of you. Then you'd get your money back. But
So,
of course nobody ever did, so.
yeah. And so Dead Meat has a podcast episode for the Dead Meat podcast where they talk about horror gimmicks. And I think they talk about this one, and they talk about how they have to watch movies for multiple times before they review them, so they would do that. They would go stand in the coward's corner. They don't care.
It's cheesy, but, I mean, that stuck with me. You're getting ready to be 21.
Yeah.
I watched it when I was pregnant with you, so
Well,
20 years this has stuck in my head that, like, when we were trying to figure out what this movie was, that was the scene that I remembered was that gimmick.
Yeah. And thanks to Reddit for telling us what this is, because I asked on Reddit, and that's how we found out. But it's like you would tell me about that book you have that was like an advent calendar book where you read one chapter each day until Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that kind of thing. It's a gimmick, and it's going to help you sell more. It's going to help you stand out from everything that's exactly the same.
Right. And I had the plot of the movie completely wrong. I knew the twist at the end, but I had the plot completely wrong. But I remembered that the fright break. And honestly, I never realized it was just this movie. I thought it was maybe kind of a thing back in the 60s that they did. I didn't realize it was more of a gimmicky thing.
Yeah.
But I love it, and it stuck with me.
So yeah, if you ever make a movie, do something fun like that, and people will remember it.
Right. I mean, make it an experience, not just going and sitting in a theater to watch a movie.
So, now back to the movie. So, Miriam heads inside, and honestly, before we do this, genuinely, if you have not seen this movie, this is the time to pause this and go watch it before we spoil what happens here.
Yes, for sure. Because this is the big twist at the end.
Yeah. So genuinely, if you have not seen this movie, do not watch the end of the podcast. I'm trusting you guys. Okay. So, Miriam goes inside, and she hears tapping from one of the other rooms. So she's kind of looking around, and all the lights are off.
Yeah.
And so she kind of...
stereotypical horror movie, turn on the darn lights.
Yeah. And so, it sounds like the tapping that Helga did whenever she was trying to talk.
Yeah.
And so she's kind of looking around, trying to find where it's coming from, and eventually she makes her way to the stairs, and then the ramp rolls down the stairs with Helga on it.
Yeah.
And I think it's right when it gets to the bottom, Helga's head falls off.
Well, it falls forward, and she kind of screams, and then it falls all the way off. But it's not bloody, it's not gory, it's not, I mean, like Dawson said, it cuts away when she goes to stab her, when Emily goes to stab her. But that's why she had the knife sharpened, so she could cut her head off, I guess. So, then Emily comes out, right?
Warren. Yes. Emily comes out. But let me say this first. Miriam sees Warren's stuff sitting on a chair. The gun on top of the pile of his clothes.
Right.
So when Emily comes out, she says, "What did you do to Warren?" And then you can take it from here.
Sorry, I was looking at my notes. So he says, "What do you mean what I do with Warren? He's right here. He's been right here this whole time." And he takes his wig off. And Emily is actually Warren.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun! Spoiler! Which, if you watch the movie, you never see them at the same time. They're never in the same room. They're never in the same scene.
The only time they talk to each other is whenever they go into that bedroom together, and all you see is a lump on the bed, and Emily's back is to us.
Yep. Yep. Um. So anyway, so we never see them together, except for that part. But you don't actually see Warren there.
Yeah.
So he tries to kill Miriam.
He stabs himself first.
Oh, yes.
Because he says Emily was the murderer, she's going to get framed for the murders, but then Emily's never going to be seen again.
Right. So he cuts himself because he tried to save Miriam, but he
Yeah.
got hurt. So he's going to stab Miriam, and the doctor comes back.
Yeah. And he could have, if he had just hurried up, so many, like in Chucky, completion anxiety, so many killers wait so long that they get busted.
Right.
Because he monologues.
It wasn't a very long monologue, though.
It wasn't super long.
I mean, we don't find out most of what we know about them until the end. So it wasn't like it wasn't like...
I know, but he just says the whole thing about, oh, Emily, why did he need to reveal that? Because
right.
What if she lived?
Right.
If he had just attacked her as Emily and then she lived, he could try again as Emily.
Right. So anyway, the doctor comes in because he just had a sneaky suspicion something was going wrong. And, somehow Warren goes after him. And so Miriam picks up the gun and actually shoots Warren and kills him.
Yeah.
So then we cut to the police station, and Carl and Miriam. Who else is there? There's somebody else there.
The officer.
The officer.
Is the doc's there.
The doctor's there, that's right.
Because I think they thank him for saving.
Yeah. And so they go through this whole thing, and you find out that Warren, who was raised as a boy, was actually born a girl.
But the dad didn't know.
The father had no idea. The mom had paid off Helga
and
Abrams because he was the
Abrams.
He was the county clerk at the time, I think it was what he was.
He wrote the birth record.
Right, he recorded the birth record. Paid them off to say that Warren was a boy.
Yeah.
So Warren was raised as a boy, but was actually a girl.
Yeah. Which is why he stole the doll.
And so Emily was getting rid of everyone who knew that Warren was actually a girl.
Yeah.
Before his 21st birthday, when he would get the dad's inheritance.
Yeah.
So that's why he killed the Justice of the Peace, because he did the birth certificate. He killed Helga because she knew.
And it's revealed that Miriam and Warren would have split the money if they knew Warren was a girl. And he wanted all the money.
Yes. But now it all goes to Miriam,
yes.
Obviously. I mean, Warren's dead. But one thing I thought was kind of interesting when I was doing some research was, so they say that Helga took Warren to Denmark.
Yes.
But one thing I was reading said that Denmark was one of the first countries to be more accepting of trans people. So I think that was kind of a tidbit he threw in there on purpose to kind of point people, that direction.
And there's a lot of killers in movies that end up, like, the twist is that they're trans. And I myself am not trans, but I have trans friends. And it's a bad trope to do, but I think this is one of the better ones of it, because it's not like, oh, they are mentally messed up because they're trans. It's they are mentally messed up because they were forced to live as a gender they were not.
Right.
Like, it is, like, full...
And she's mean, she's a murderer, but she wasn't just, like, a psycho serial killer. She had an agenda. Like, these are the people who know, these are the people I need to get rid of. It wasn't like, Michael Myers type killing where it's just whoever gets in my way, I'm going to take care of.
And no matter what, if you have an abusive dad, you're going to have issues in the future.
Right. And it's
coming from someone that had one.
I just think that as the first time you watch that movie and that ending comes through, like, because, I mean, if you look at Warren and you look at Emily, their noses are the same, but he even does fake teeth. When she's Warren, she does fake teeth.
Yeah.
course, her blonde hair is a wig. She's actually got dark hair, but I
And we're
mean,
probably switching back and forth between pronouns. They never established which pronouns they would prefer. So
well, I would say she because she's actually a girl.
I know, but we don't know.
But then he
They
was gonna live as a guy.
yeah.
So we don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not
I
trying
mean,
to offend
it doesn't
anybody.
matter.
Right.
I don't think you're going to. I'm just putting that out there.
Right. But the actor, it was actually an actress that played both roles. And when they went to cast, she tried out for Emily, and she got the part. And she tried to convince them to let her be Warren too, and they said no, they wanted a male for that role. So she left, came back dressed as a man when they were doing the part for the auditions for Warren. Walked in, and she looked so much like a man that the secretary didn't even recognize her. And she got that part too.
Yeah.
So the only thing they changed was they did have, and you can tell in the movie once you know this, they did have a male actor dub over the voice parts for Warren.
And I can't say what that looks like for someone that doesn't know the twist. I don't know how well that comes across. I had the twist spoiled for me before it happened because I helped my mom find this movie, which is not her fault at all. But so I noticed it right away. If you are a more casual viewer that did not know the twist before you started the movie, I don't know if you would. It's not atrocious, but it is a little off.
I didn't realize when I was watching it. See, I thought that I thought that she was really a guy. Like, I thought the person that played them was a guy. I mean, like I said, 20 years ago, I watched it for the first time. So in my mind, he was the real person. So I kept watching Emily to see if I could see her Adam's apple. She doesn't have one. So Warren didn't have one.
And that just shows you how good the actress was.
Right. Right. I mean, she did a really good job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, the first time watching it, not knowing what the twist was kind of jaw dropping. Kind of like the first time you watch Psycho. If you don't know what the twist is in Psycho, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, I didn't see that coming. But it was fun to watch it a second time because I knew the twist.
So you catch things.
So you don't. Watching it the first time, you don't really notice that Emily and Warren are never in the room together. They're never there at the same time. But just things like that you catch kind of more, the second time around. But I am sorry I ruined it for you.
That's fine. I mean, you try not to.
I was desperate for this movie.
It was when you worked at Family Video, right?
No, I worked it was when I was working at...
I mean, it doesn't matter.
The bank.
But she
borrowed
it off someone.
With you when I was working at the bank, so
I've seen it before too.
Yeah, so I've been looking for this movie for years, and then Dawson finally figures out what it is, and I order a copy, and then I go in my movie room, and we already had a copy of it. So all these years I've had that movie.
That's not saying a whole lot though, because she has a lot of movies. So
1,200.
It was bound to be in there.
But yeah, it's just a good, I want to watch more from this director just because it's so fun. And like I said, the Fright break really stuck with me.
Well, and you said they're making a prequel series to 13 Ghosts, so I want to watch the original 13 Ghosts, the remake, and then we could watch that when it comes out.
Yeah, I want,
I don't even necessarily mean for the podcast, I just mean we can do that.
Yeah, I haven't seen the original 13 Ghosts. I honestly didn't know it was a remake. But they are doing a series on the ghosts, which is something people have been asking for forever. But yeah, if you get time, watch this movie. I hope you've watched it before we spoil the end of it. It's a good one.
I don't know how horror it will be, but... And this is just putting something out there, but... they talked about making a Last Ronin movie, rated R, which is based off a TMNT comic series, where only one of the turtles is left alive and it's years in the future. If they make that, we should cover it on the podcast. I just thought about that.
I want the turtles to be dead.
But one of them's alive.
Well, that's not very good. That's only 25%.
Anyway, I feel like that'd be fun, though. The comic series is really good. Anyway, that's unrelated. What are we doing next week?
Next week we are doing the movie called The Walking Deceased.
Unless we watch it and hate it.
Which is going to be fun because neither one of us have seen it, so...
And if you can't tell by the title, it's a parody of The Walking Dead. It's a movie.
Yeah.
So.
And then our book for July. We actually changed what it was going to be. I think we mentioned last month what it was going to
I
be.
don't know if we did.
But our book this month is going to be Seven Rabbits by Timothy King. He's
Yes.
an indie horror author. He has several books out.
I don't think he's going to be an indie author for long.
He's actually got his new book is coming out in August, and I get to meet him in August, and I can't wait. But Seven Rabbits, it's a good um, slasher book, revenge, great story.
And I have not
Pick it
read it
up.
yet, but I've heard my mom gush about it for years now, so.
Well, I mean, he took over all my bookshelf up there so far, so he told me he's coming for my one Grady Hendrix book that's up there. So when his new one comes out in August, it'll be replaced, I bet.
Okay, so I think that's all we had for today.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you next week.